Alright, before we start, let's make sure you need to take out paper with which you can take notes. So I don't have notes for this. So go ahead and, if you need to pause the program, take notes out, paper out so you can take notes. We're going to go through a program called PickColor, and this class tells users there's a prize based on what color they pick. So the user is going to be asked to pick a color. Based on whatever they pick, then the program will tell them what their prize is. Now there's a couple of objectives that we're going to try to accomplish here by going through this, and one is to learn how to compare strings. Up to this point we've been comparing numbers, we've been comparing ints, but we can't compare ints and strings in the same manner, so I wish I could explain now why that is, but I'll explain maybe a later time. Another objective is we're going to learn how to use else for invalid entries, and then thirdly we're going to practice testing all the alternatives of the program's if-else structure. It is important that when you have completed writing a program that you do test it, and it's important to test different alternatives or different possibilities, especially when you have if-else structures, and so we're going to practice doing that as well. So as we go on with this program, you're going to see that we have established a variable called color. It's going to hold the user's choice of color, and so we have a prompt that says to pick red or blue to see what you win. And so of course the excitement is rising as you see what can I win. And so we go in here, we're gonna do the input statement, which is going to we notice we use scan.next. It's not scan.nextInt, scan.nextDouble, scan.next, and we're using next instead of line because we're only asking for one-word answers, and so it's either red or blue, and so next, scan.next accommodates one-word answers. If the answer could be more than one word, that's when you would use scan.nextLine. The next thing that we want to look at is we're going to start the if. Now, so they've made their choice of color, and now the program is going to look at that color and make a comparison, and then tell the user what they won. Now, what we're going to want to do is we're going to say, okay, now notice the choice is in the variable color, so we're going to go color, and what we might want to say, if the color equals blue. Alright, that's what we want to do. That's what we've been doing. But the problem is that what we're doing is we're comparing a string with another string. So we're taking the string, whatever they chose, whatever the user typed, and we're comparing it with this string here, blue. And besides that, blue would need quotation marks because it's a string, a literal string. And so you're comparing, does red equals blue, or does blue equals blue? That would be nice if you could do that, but you can't. And so the first thing you need to do as far as your notes go is write something down like how to compare strings. And how do we compare strings? Well, this is how you do this. So what you're going to do first of all is you're going to type the variable that contains the string, the literal string that you want to compare. And so you're going to go that, in this case color, dot equals, and then you're going to have parentheses. Now when you have equals and parentheses, that means that equals is a what? Well, it's a method. Remember, methods have the name of the method, and then you have parentheses, and that's what this is. And so this is going to compare whatever color was chosen by the user with the following color, and we're going to go blue. And notice that we use quotation marks because we're comparing a string with a string. So the strings must have quotation marks around them. All right, so that's how you would do that. You might want to say something like variable dot equals literal string as a template. You know, maybe that's a template for how to do this, but somehow you got to understand we're using the equals method. All right, so then we go on here, and if they chose blue, then of course if it's true, we jump in here and we tell them they won 1 free kitten each month for 10 years. Now who wouldn't want that? And so then we go on the else if. Well, that's the only other choice. Why are we doing else if we only have one other choice? Well, you'll see. So we're going to go ahead and do the color dot equals red. If they chose red, then they're going to they're going to win 1 free puppy each month for 10 years. So now we're going to go on to, well, how do you use else for an invalid entry? Well, it's just this. Of course, else has to be the last alternative, and it has no Boolean expression. And so if everything else has been false, so let's say they did not type blue and they did not type red. Well, what are reasons that they wouldn't have typed blue or red? Well, maybe they misspelled blue or red, or maybe they chose a different color like brown, or maybe they capitalized blue or red. Those are different things that somebody could accidentally do, and so else accommodates anything that doesn't make these true, every other possibility. And so then we give them a message. In that case, it says invalid entry. It's got to be blue or red. All right, so those are things. Now we're going to learn something else here in just a second, but what I need you to do right now is in today's module, I need you to copy PickColor Starter in Canvas to JGrasp, insert the Boolean expressions in there, like I just did, blue for kittens, red for puppies, type an invalid entry message in the else clause, and then I need you to compile, debug it, make sure it's working, and then you need to test it for, actually test the program. Be the user and type in blue, type in red, try a misspelling or pick a wrong color, and then another test it also with a capital blue or a capital red. So you know, like blue. So go ahead and do that at this time, and then come back to this video. Okay, so hopefully you did all these things that it said here, and you made all these, tested all these alternatives. It's very important that you experience it, go through it. Now we're going to, you notice that when you tested capitalized red or capitalized blue, that it called it an invalid entry. But sometimes what you want to do, you want to be able to allow a person to type something capitalized or not capitalized, where, you know, so it doesn't matter what they type in that case as far as case goes. And so if the case is not important, then you need to allow for that. And how you do that is you go here, we're going to go to this guy right here, and we're going to use equals ignore case. So it's going to go equals and then capital I, ignore, and then capital C. And so so how to compare strings? You do variable.equals, or you do variables.equal ignore case. So don't just use ignore case all the time, because sometimes it's going to be important that they have it is capitalized, and so you don't want, so you do want the wrong case to be an invalid entry. And so if we do this, then this should go, make sure you have this on your notes. And now this would accommodate a capitalized blue or capitalized red. And so what I'd like you to do now is to go back to your starter program and change the Boolean expressions to accommodate capitalization, and then test the program for capitalized blue or red, and then you're done with this video.